The law of unintended consequences looks like it has struck again. We've learned that in some cases, the ignition interlocks that are put in cars to prevent people from driving drunk are actually putting them and everybody else on the highway in danger. Now, the problem is not with the devices themselves, but with how they're installed. Tim Maestas is on tonight's special assignment.
Crash after crash, and a long list of victims in New Mexico's battle with DWI. A long list of drunk drivers, too. Devices like these are supposed to keep DWI offenders in check. For convicted drunk drivers like Josette Gouroulet, ignition interlocks are as much a part of driving as putting on a seatbelt.
I had 4 DUIs, and therefore I think it was a safer bet to have an interlock installed in my vehicle. For any alcoholics, for anyone who has an alcoholic in their family, for anyone whose child is going away to college 100,000 miles away and you need to make sure that they're going to keep the road safe, I strongly recommend it.
Interlocks are designed to keep a car from starting if a driver blows into the device with a breath alcohol level above a certain limit. For Josette, there was a problem. She says faulty installation of her ignition interlock turned her car into another danger on the highway.
Normally it's right here in this area.
She had to give it up because of too many repair bills.
Here is the proof from my mechanic that it was damage to vehicle was due to interlock miswired into ignition control module.
In the last 2 years, I've probably seen a dozen cases.
Josette's mechanic tells us improperly installed interlock devices can cause severe damage to vehicles, and that can put the user and other drivers in danger.
I have had a case where they had their interlock installed, vehicles running perfect, they drove it out of there, they were gone no more than 30 minutes, and the vehicle stalled on the freeway.
It would just randomly shut off. It would lock up and shut off.
Doris, who did not want to show her face, had an interlock installed in one of her vehicles after her young son got a DWI in 2009. Her mechanic also blames the vehicle's troubles on an improperly installed device.
I felt like I was really stuck between, what the mechanic was saying and then the interlock installer being adamant that it wasn't his device that was causing it.
Doris and Josette say they had a tough time dealing with the interlock companies, and both say they had a tough time finding anyone who would listen. We went to the State Department of Transportation's Traffic Safety Bureau, which oversees ignition interlocks in New Mexico.
We have existing regulations that everyone must adhere to.
According to Traffic Safety Manager Franklin Garcia, the interlock industry is closely regulated, with staff members dedicated to investigating user complaints. Service providers and installers are licensed and certified yearly.
Have you been made aware of problems with improperly installed devices?
We have had staff that have had to deal with those issues, and we're able to usually resolve them just in communication with the service center and getting the information from the driver themselves.
According to the state installer application, installers do not have to be certified mechanics. Required training includes satisfactory completion from an automotive electronics training program, or at least 1 year's verifiable experience with motor vehicle electrical systems, and satisfactory completion from an ignition interlock installer training program.
Do they have to be licensed certified mechanics necessarily?
We do require, there's some background that we would look at to see if they do have some mechanical or some garage type experience.
Mechanic Alan Tucker says that's not enough.
I think the state should go through ASC certified mechanics.
We went to both interlock companies to see if what Doris and Josette were saying was true. High Tech Interlock did not agree to an on-camera interview, but off-camera, the owner told us it is possible for installers to make mistakes, and he says his company makes it a point to respond to problems quickly.
I'm Tim from Channel 13.
Budget Interlock referred us to the company's attorney because Josette is suing. She says even though she's had a tough time, ignition interlocks serve an important purpose.
It is a comfort zone knowing that you have that in your vehicle.
But she says it doesn't make sense if what's supposed to save lives puts people in danger. Doris feels the same way.
Drunk driving's not safe, and driving with a malfunctioning vehicle is not safe either.
Tim Maestas, KRQE News 13.
Okay, the people up at the State Traffic Bureau say they were not aware of the complaints from Doris and Josette, who you just saw in that story. But there is a hotline for people who have ignition interlock problems that they can call. It is 800-541-7952. 800-541-7952.